And now I'd like to bring on Mrs. Kris Pate, who is Director of United Way in LaPorte County. So welcome, Kris, and thank you for being here. I know you're so busy, so I know it's hard to take time out of your busy
It's always
day.
a joy to be back at Dunebrook.
Right.
Yep.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about Kris yourself and how you used to be, built many of our programs. Kris was instrumental in the beginning stages of many programs here at Dunebrook. And then we'll talk about United Way and some of the things you're doing now with the pandemic. Thanks, Kris.
All right. It's good to be here. I was just thinking, Hannah, if you bought that much with $20, just think how much the whole $350 is going to buy, right?
Right.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
Right.
That's a big impact for a lot of families. So thanks for doing that. So my history with Dunebrook goes back pretty far. It was back in 2000 that I decided to go back into the workforce. I'd been home raising kids and homeschooling and all kinds of fun things like that. And so Dunebrook at that time was a little house on Johnson Road, not this beautiful structure that you see now. And I came and interviewed with the director, who at the time was Diana Dibke, a wonderful woman who's done great things for kids throughout our community. And it was for the program manager for the Healthy Families program. And Diana did everything she could to tell me how bad things were and almost talked me out of it. It was the funniest thing. And then she said, "So what do you think?" I'm like, "Okay, let's do it," And so I came in and we went from, at that time, actually being in corrective action status for whatever reason to being one of the premier healthy families in the community or in the state. And it was a great team that we had involved here. And then we went from this little house, went through this huge building project. I mean, I got to knock down walls with sledgehammers, and you wouldn't believe it. And then we built this beautiful, beautiful structure. And so at the time that we went through this, I was actually, I had started revamping our forensic interviewing work. And there were a couple interviews that would be done here each year. Usually a police officer would do it. And Diana had asked me to kind of breathe a little life into that. So we brought the body safety program back, worked with Sergeant Terry Hall out of Indianapolis and got things moving here with that. We designed all that section back there so we could have a multidisciplinary team room in the interview room, and got equipment, and it was so exciting. And then I was an instructor for Finding Words Indiana, so teaching forensic interviewing throughout the state. And we built our own multidisciplinary team here, and it was just so exciting. And the outcomes for kids just kept getting better and better because they were getting interviews that were non-leading. They would hold up in a court, and
again, just so people listening know, what that is when Department of Child Services gets a call for a suspected case of child abuse and they need to be interviewed. Kris is talking about the multidisciplinary team, which is law enforcement, prosecuting attorney, Department of Child Services, watching the interview in a very family-friendly place. That's what Kris is saying.
Right. The
difference in the old days is when you're a poor child who's had a possible abuse case was interviewed at the emergency room or the police station. So this is a very beginning, really, I think, would you say, Kris, the beginning of a healing process by coming here?
Yeah.
But thanks to you and everyone that was involved at that time for creating, knowing and seeing the insight and the benefit and the power of beginning the healing process in such a gentler way.
Yeah, and making sure that those kids have a voice and that, when kids go through something like that, they know the story, but if you don't ask them the right questions, they can appear to maybe not be telling the truth, or maybe it didn't really happen. But if you know how to interview a child like that, you can bring out the detail that helps that child tell from their viewpoint things that nobody could refute. And so it's just so important. So, long history with Dunebrook. It's a wonderful place, and I always enjoy being back here.
Well, thank you, Kris. So tell us about United Way and what's happening, and maybe particularly about the pandemic and how. First of all, thank you. They've given a lot of money out to the community. We got $5,000 for, like Hannah's Basket, our depot with baby supplies that we give free to our clients who learn new behavior. But go ahead, Kris, talk about all the resources.
So in 2006, I moved to Pittsburgh, and I was there for about 6 years. And then my grandson had moved back here, and so I just finished my MBA. I'm desperately wanting to come home, be closer to my grandson, be closer to Lake Michigan, which I miss desperately. And so, Diana, who I said was here at Dunebrook, was kind of keeping her eye out for me. And I remember she called me one day and said, "Kris, the United Way director job is open." And when I had worked at Dunebrook, I used to help with the United Way campaign. And I remember thinking, I would love to do that job someday. Isn't that the craziest thing?
Fun.
Yeah. So anyway, I interviewed and I got the job and came back in 2012. And I love being at United Way. It's, I felt like if I worked at one not-for-profit, you can help a lot of people. But by working with United Way, I could help not only a lot of people, but the system. And so a lot of the work that we've done since I've been back has been to bring our not-for-profits together to help them work in a more coordinated fashion toward common goals. And, that just shows more impact.
Right.
And I think it's been really helpful for families.
And can I just really sincerely applaud you, Kris, because as a non-for-profit director, when you join United Way, your organization or personally, Kris is really the hub for all of us non-for-profits training, everything, getting together, sharing program ideas. Sincerely, Kris, that in the home team for me as a director was instrumental in building the knowledge of our program, in particular Dunebrook, within the community, because of the resources that you, in the meetings and all the work that you do at United Way, and getting us together. And that's crucial. We can be programs so that people don't know about us.
Right. And I have to say, one of the things that I've always admired so much about our county, LaPorte County in general, is there is a willingness to work together here that you don't see everywhere. And I've gotten this feedback from people who've come in from the outside to review programs or review our law enforcement. I mean, just, all different kinds of people that come in, and they're just amazed at how well our not-for-profits work together. And it's something to be really proud of. If you haven't been to other areas, you might not be aware of how significant it is. But, it just seems like we have so many wonderful leaders here who truly care about their mission and the work that they're doing, and they know that they're going to be more effective if we work together. Right. There's no room for competition in not-for-profit because you just can't be as effective. If you think about it, whenever you're working with someone who's struggling in whatever area, their life is so multifaceted and they have so many different kinds of needs. And so if you're in a close relationship with the other not-for-profits in the area, you have so much more to offer, and you can work together to help that family get stable and get whatever they need. So at our United Way, we focus on financial stability for families. We have a lot of people either in poverty or in what we call ALICE, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. That's people that are working, but they're just barely getting by. And, the least little thing can put them over the edge. And certainly COVID has done that. So that, and then our kids, whether it's the little ones, and we know that the work that we do with our preschool kids is, it's life-changing. It makes the difference between good outcomes for life and not. Because one thing, I became a Strosacker Fellow through Purdue Northwest a year or so ago, and I remember one thing that just really stood out to me, and that was that, when children enter school, there's an achievement gap. Okay, you've got your kids who have had very little exposure to education, and then you've got your other kids who've maybe had a really enriched household and lots of exposure. So you have this gap. And the thing that is so interesting is that over a period of time, both groups learn, they continue to learn, but the gap doesn't go away. Right. And so you continue to see this gap on through. So the things that we can do with the little ones are huge.
Right. And we were just talking prior to the show about racial inequality, and that's where comes in, that the average person doesn't understand that when that gap, as you're talking about, Kris, is there, that can cause lifetime problems.
Absolutely. And then with our older kids, COVID, I'm sure you're seeing it too, but kids are struggling.
Yeah.
I know my grandson is 11, and he's been devastated by this. He really has, and he talks about it all the time. So our kids are struggling. Mm-hmm. Their whole life has changed. I mean, as adults, we know how hard it's been on us, but our kids don't have that same frame of reference to kind of look at some of these things logically, and they're struggling.
Yeah.
So we have to be aware of that. So that's the work of United Way. Most recently, when all of this started and all of our lives changed so quickly, one of the first things we did was start a COVID relief fund here in LaPorte County. To date, I brought some numbers with me. We've raised just slightly under $140,000.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that exciting? So hats off to you and everyone who gave that 5, 10, 5,000, 20,000 gift, and we had the whole range. And I know on our Facebook, that's the thing we said. I had one post I made, and there were maybe 14, 15,000 reach for that. And I said, hey, you guys, if everybody gave $5, look how much money we would raise. And I think that's really the key to United Way, is that United Way, here's one thing I really want to be sure I stress. Your local United Way is your local United Way. There's this United Way worldwide thing, and we benefit a lot from them. We get a lot of free marketing materials. We pay 1% of what we raise as a membership fee, and we get free training. We get way more than what we pay out in membership dues. But when we raise money, that money stays right here. Nobody tells us what to do with that money. We're not sending that money somewhere else for somebody to decide what to do with it. That money stays right here, and it's local volunteers who determine where that money is going to go. And so just like Jeananne, when you're applying for United Way dollars, you go through a process where we make sure that you're doing what you say you're doing, and you're a stable organization and mission-oriented in supporting struggling families and kids and things like that. And then we require outcomes. So what did you do? How well did you do it? Did anybody's life change as a result of that? United Way puts it all together and then is able to show the community what kind of impact have we had.
So if you're, sorry, Kris, but if you're working for a company and they ask you to give to United Way, and you wonder, what Kris is saying is that money that you give stays right in the county.
Absolutely.
So the money you give either individually to United Way, but really traditionally, more importantly, are big companies saying, staff, employees, would you like to give to United Way? It stays here. And as Hannah brought the basket of diapers, we're giving diapers to people who are learning new, healthier behaviors. So It's a win-win situation.
Yeah. So, since COVID started, I told you we raised about $140,000. We have given back out to the community, about 24 agencies so far, with donations that we've made out. And that's been almost $95,000 just in that. And then we've put, I've got here, over $11,000 in protective equipment. So masks and hand sanitizers and all that sort of thing that we've gotten out to homeless shelters and to, all of our not-for-profits, and just trying to make sure that the people that are out there doing the work and helping are safe, getting this out as best we can. I mean, we've put like over $10,000 just into gift cards, where, we just giving to families who are in need a card so that they can go get some groceries or get some gas or something like that.
Because when you lose your job, there's no incoming money.
No.
And you've lost your job because that place of business is no longer in business for the time being.
Right.
So a gift card.
It's been difficult. I was telling Jeananne earlier that, at first, when we first started this process, I was getting calls all the time from people who were telling me, I've never been in this position before. I have no idea where to go for help. I can't pay my rent. I can't buy my prescription. And I don't know what to do. And so being able to connect those people to the agencies that we're funding so that they have the money to help people, was so important. I mean, you just saw it. And I mentioned Alice. I just want to talk about Alice because I just pulled down some of the new information. So Alice is always 2 years behind. So that means I now have the 2018 report. But, things haven't changed a whole lot. And this is a difficult area. We have a lot of people who are either in poverty or in this place where they're just really struggling. They may be working, but they're really struggling. So right now, here's what I wanted to share with you. Oh, the place where I saw the really the tough situations are with families with kids, and our older families, our seniors, are really struggling too. So according to this, with our households in LaPorte County, we have 27% of our families with children who are in poverty. Wow. Which, that poverty level is so low.
Can you say that one more time?
Yeah, 27% of families with children in LaPorte County are in poverty. So they're
I don't think most people understand that.
No, that's scary.
Yeah.
Really scary. And then, oh boy, if I can read that. Looks like, looks like 17%. Wow. So much for bifocal contact lenses, right? All right, so like 17% of our families with children are part of this Alice population. So, you're looking at, and I probably said that wrong because it's 40%. So is that 13 then maybe? So yeah, let me say that again. 13% are Alice. So we got 60% that are doing okay before COVID, right? Because that threw a wrench in everything. But then we've got this other 40%. That's almost half of our families with kids who are really struggling, either in poverty or maybe they're working 2-3 jobs and they're still not making ends meet. Yeah. And so, it's important for people to know that we have families that are truly struggling here, and we need the resources to help. So, it's just like that $20 basket and how much that can do for the depot. Those small gifts that you're making to United Way or to Dunebrook or wherever, your heart is to do that kind of gifting, it makes a huge difference.
So, Kris, if there's a family who's struggling, do you recommend that they call you or call us or what?
So, they can call 211. Now, they've hired more workers, so your wait time may not be so bad right now. Initially with COVID, they were completely overwhelmed. Uh-huh. But you can dial United Way 211.
Okay.
And you can tell them your zip code and what it is that you have need of, and they can tell you the places in your area. Great. You can also call United Way, and most of the other services that we have throughout the county can refer, back and forth. But right now, if somebody is struggling,
food,
so food, we have a lot of food pantries. Rent, Catholic Charities is doing a lot with rent relief. North Central Community Action is doing rent relief. We also gave North Central Community Action a grant to do water bills. So if you're having trouble paying your water bill. So Salvation Army is doing some relief. We've funded First Steps in LaPorte with some relief. So there are a lot of different places around the community. Now in LaPorte, it's recommended that you go to your township trustee first, and that's the Center Township trustee, Lisa Przykowski.
Wonderful.
Amazing. Yeah, they do amazing work out of that office. And you can start there, and Lisa kind of coordinates so that she'll pass people on if she needs to.
And if all else fails, you can always call Kris at United Way or call us at Dunebrook. One last thing, Kris, because I know we're up on time, is the taxes.
Yes,
Can you want to talk a little bit?
So United Way does people's taxes for free if they make $66,000 or less a year. And so right now, if you want to have your taxes done by a volunteer tax accountant, you can contact Salvation Army in LaPorte, and the phone number there, it's a 219-362-5345. 42, and it's extension 2025, but it's Salvation Army in LaPorte. The other thing I want to tell people is that you can go online to myfreetaxes.com. It's the latest H&R Block software.
Nice.
It's free through United Way. So if you are at all internet savvy, it's not hard to do. Go on, you can get your state and federal taxes done right away and get your returns. So myfreetaxes.com. Be sure and go there.
Great.
Yeah.
Kris, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming today. Any last questions from anyone? Miss Megan online? We're doing all right, Pam? All right. So I guess what I would want to say, Kris, is there anything last that you would like to mention before we tune out today?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm never without words.
Yes.
Okay. So here's what I want to say. United Way was very blessed to receive a grant for over $600,000. It's Lilly Foundation money that came through the Indiana United Way. So Indiana United Way wrote a grant, got all this money, distributed it throughout the state. We got around $600,000. So with that money, we are looking for ways that we can improve systems within our county. So some of the areas we've been looking at are virtual services, because when this all happened, we realized we have to get better at this, right?
Right.
And then housing, that's a huge area that we're working on. And of course, the home team and Unity Foundation are very involved in leading the charge on that, and we want to support that effort. Another thing that we've heard is just being able to support the mental health needs of our community. Through the fund, I told you we had $140,000. We're continuing to do that. But then the last one where United Way really wants to take the lead is racial and ethnic disparities and increasing equity in our community. So if anybody else has a systems type issue that you really want to make us aware of, that you think we should be focusing on, you can email and just do info@unitedwaylpc.org. So UnitedWayLPC.org. And just give us your thoughts, because we're gathering these ideas. We want to put this money where it's going to do the most good and have long-term impact. So,
Kris,
thank you.
that's fabulous. Thank you so much, Kris. Thank you.
Yep.
And you always have such great information.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Pam just mentioned, just one last really quick thing, this Thursday night, you can join United Way on our Facebook Live and do the Power of the Purse event. The Women United of LaPorte County puts this event on for United Way, and the dollars they raise go into financial stability programming. So you can bid right now at the live auction. If you can get in right now and do the live, it's called silent auction. You can do the silent auction, and then Thursday night you can do the live auction and watch, some of our local celebrities parade around with purses.
So Power of the Purse this Thursday night,
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
And the live auction will be until 6:30, and then from 6:30 to 7 we'll be closing everything out and taking donations and all that. But yeah, there's some great purses.
How fun.
If you go on there now, you can see what's up for silent auction.
It's a very, very fun event.
It is.
So thank you for.
And we had to do it virtually because I have all these purses in my office and I got to get them out of there.
And I checked it out yesterday, and there's some pretty good ones.
Oh yeah, some really nice purses.
It's a very fun event. So thank you, and thank you, Pam, for
thanks for reminding me.
So with that, I thank you all for joining us today. I thank you, Hannah, for coming and talking. Pam, Lisa, Megan, thank you. So everyone, invite to please, if you're struggling, that's at the heart of what we all do, is to reach out and just find out what resources are available. So do call us, go online, 211 United Way of LaPorte, Dunebrook. There's so many non-for-profits out there to be of help. So thank you. Have a wonderful week. Remember to be kind to yourself during this time and be kind to others. And we will see you next Tuesday at 10.